patience is a virtue here. I can't handle it, no. That is almost like the golden rule of London. You'll be the most unpopular person in London at that point in time. Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new around here, I'm Yvette and I moved to London about 3 months ago, and these are my observations and things I think you should know before you come to London, whether it's to holiday or to move. This is probably one of the most important videos on the channel, is what not to do in London. British etiquette that you need to know before you come to London. I know American, British, Australian, we're all from the same family, but we're like families that moved interstate and then don't really talk that much, and then develop our own hobbies, and then we come together at Christmas and fight about it. So I decided to make a video on all the things you shouldn't do in London to minimize the conflict and maximize the fun when you're traveling around London, as to not offend anyone. So number one, if you're in London and you're on a holiday, try not to travel in rush hour. Doubly don't travel in rush, and definitely don't travel in rush hour if you have luggage. You'll get a lot of side eye and rolling eyes of you trying to fit yourself and your luggage onto the train during peak hour. It's not easy to fit a human onto the train in peak hour, let alone a massive wheelie bag of luggage. So you'll get a few looks there if you have to, but understandably, this can't always be avoided, but at least you'll know going into it, and you can look apologetically with your eyes everywhere so that everyone feels okay with it. Number two, do not stand on the left. Londoners take few things so seriously as they take the escalators. If you stand on the left side of the escalator when in peak hour, do not be surprised if you get pushed to the side, up, down, over, wherever, off the escalator altogether. At the very least, you'll get an aggressive "excuse me" as they're trying to get past. Nothing grinds their gears more than someone on the wrong side of the escalator. Just be a bit considerate and stand on the right. Also, when I say on the right, I mean everything you own. So don't you stand on the right and have your bag next to you. Your bag has to go behind you or in front of you. Those are the rules. You will be very unpopular if you break that one specifically. That is almost like the golden rule of London, is the escalators. Number three is a personal pet peeve of mine. Do not crowd the walkway. If you're walking and you don't know where you're going because you're a tourist, that's fine. Understandable. Step to the side. Do not just stop. I cannot tell you how angry that makes me and every other Londoner if you're just walking and just stop. I can't. Or if you're scrolling and just stop on your phone, I can't handle it, no. You'll get a lot of aggressive puffs and tuts as they walk around you. If you're in a tour or you bump into someone and you're having a chat, that's great. Don't do it in the middle of the footpath. If you walk into a cafe and you get an ice cream, don't walk out of the cafe or gelato store or wherever you are and stand on the path and eat it. Move away. Do not congregate on the footpath. Footpath is for walking. Secondly, don't drag your bag unless you have to. It should be next to you. Like on one of those wheelie ones. I understand not everyone has the newest bag, but generally you should have it next to you as close as possible, wheeling it next. Don't be dragging it behind you like a little kid running through an airport, taking up too much space on the path. Also, I have a lot of points on the footpath, clearly. If you're in a group, never stand more than 2 people wide. So if you're a family of 4 or 5, don't just wing out and take up the entire path, like stopping everyone from walking around you. I can't stress this enough. It's infuriating for people who are actually going somewhere of importance, not just sauntering around on their holiday. Number 4, this is more aimed at Americans because I know a lot of Americans watch my videos. I know you guys are a lovely, friendly bunch and just love to make friends. Londoners are not like that. They'll think you're trying to scam them if you make an unwanted conversation. So small talk is not a thing here, and if it's small, it's very just like polite phrases, you know, hi, thanks, how, yep, all right, thanks, bye, that's it. If you're looking at a tube map and you're trying to ask questions to someone, they might help you if it's a genuine question, but don't expect a full conversation about where you're going and what's good around the area and tips and advice. Not a thing. Londoners do not enjoy unwanted conversation. I know when you go to America, everyone's like super welcoming and kind and wants to know everything about you, but that's just not the same here. So keep it minimal. Obviously, everyone's not going to be overly rude. Don't be afraid of asking people things, but yeah, don't strike up a conversation as if you would with a friend, because they'll be confused and probably very shy. Number 5, back to the footpaths again, because I can't get off them. Don't walk slow on the footpath. Like I said, Londoners walking around aggressively trying to get the places. If you're slow, you'll get huffs and puffs and tuts about you being in the way. Try to keep up. Don't just walk slowly on your phone, measly about. Try and walk with purpose, or at least walk to the side so that people with purpose can get around. Number 6, queuing. One of the number 1 rules is standing to the right on the escalators in England. The second most important rule at all is going to be queuing. British people respect a queue. They like to, if you're American, that means line up. So they like lining up for things. They respect waiting your turn. Everyone gets to go. It's civilized society. No one's pushing in. We all get our own turn at the right time if you're patient. Patience is a virtue here. I cannot tell you how unpopular you'll be if you just jump in line, if you just jump in the queue. If you cut a queue, you'll be the most unpopular person in London at that point in time. I can tell you that now. They do not value cheating. So if you see a queue, just get to the back of it. Ask someone in the end, are you the back of the queue? They'll say yes or no, it's over there, and you can go there. Do the right thing, particularly at an airport if you're lining up for a flight. Personal gripe of mine as someone who catches a lot of flights. Number 7, Brits are punctual. If you're meeting a tour, if you're meeting someone for lunch or dinner, don't be late. They value punctuality and being on time. It is seen as a respectful thing to be respectful of someone else's time and not to keep them waiting for you. It would be seen as arrogant to assume that your time is more important than theirs, and they don't take that well. So do the right thing and be on time, or at least if something drastically goes wrong, at least let them know. Don't just keep them sitting there waiting for half an hour to an hour. That is a very easy way to get yourself disliked in London. Particularly because everyone has no time in London and everyone's busy, so keeping them waiting and wasting their time is of the utmost offensiveness. Something to be aware of, and I'm a bit guilty of this sometimes, is that the peace sign, I do this a lot in photos, tend to it's just an easy one to get, hey. The reverse of this, which I won't do because I don't know if that'll get my video flagged, so this but backwards, is basically the middle finger in England. I know in America, it used to be quite a good, and even Australia, I think, during the early 2000s, the reverse of that used to be quite just like a go-to sign to do for photos, you know. However, it's offensive here. It's basically sticking the middle finger up. So if you're sitting there doing that in a photo, they'll get a certain impression of what kind of person you are. If you're, you know, imagine if someone was taking a photo in front of, you know, Big Ben or something, and they had their middle fingers up. That doesn't send the right message, and that's essentially what you're doing if you're doing the peace sign backwards. If you can't remember which way's the right way, don't do it at all. Very easy to offend because you could be essentially sticking your finger up at someone. I know people who've been driving and then they say thank you and they go, hey, thanks. And it looks like they've just flipped someone off because they've just put their hand up, but they've only done the 2 fingers, and it looks like you're flipping someone off who let you in. Driving, it's a thing. Don't do it. Be aware of it. Number 9 is eye contact. Try not to make any unwanted eye contact. If you make too much eye contact, they'll think you're flirting with them because they're very reserved people, and any interaction at all will be seen as a threat or flirting or both. So just be very aware of that and respectful. No matter how close you get someone on the tube, try not to make eye contact with them because it's just awkward. Number 10, and my final etiquette tip, is to not mimic accents. Do not walk around London saying, hello governor, or tip it in morning to you, or whatever you want to say in Cockney rhyming slang. It's not seen as endearing, it's not seen as fun or sweet. They'll find it kind of offensive and that you're mocking them. Definitely don't just pick random words to try and mimic. I know sometimes you'll be talking in a normal accent and then you'll be like, laugh. One word doesn't make sense. And often because there's so many different dialects of England, you'll be picking random ones, so it's not even believable. It just sounds like you don't hear the difference in it. It's just bad. But yeah, so they'll just think it's offensive. So you don't want to, they might smile and nod, but let me tell you that that doesn't mean they're happy. They'll be, oh, okay, annoying to them. No one ever hears someone mimicking their accent and being like, oh, that's great. No one ever has that response. So just save yourself the hassle and don't mimic any accents if you can help it. Or unless someone asks you to, that could be fun too. Or if they mimic your accent first, you're in every right to do it back to them because you'll see how annoying it is. So those are my top 10 British etiquette tips if you're coming to London and what not to do. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Tell me in the comments below if you're from London, if there's anything else you think people should know what not to do. Or tell me if you've been to London and you've done any of these things and how did they go for you? Because I'd guess it's not well. If you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and remember to hit subscribe so I can see you next time for my next video on London life.